I increase this volume, please? Can you help me? I will repeat it. Is it something to do with yeah, of course. Yeah, probably you can paste it. Oh, yeah, of course. Oh, that's my mistake, sorry. Okay. You know what, I will use sorry, I will just
exactly, so who's most interested? Students I definitely see it in the system more like the one so he always asks me questions and he makes me
It's so cute you're in Have you got the ISO? Have you got I need a license. You get all of now this could take me. Have you got 32? they got this UI so like
Exactly.
leaves us the animal.
Yeah, until the second when she made me go all the way down there, so I was impressed. And then next second she comes back up, she's like, I know you from somewhere. That's fine. It was like, do you know it?
How do you feel, okay?
And then it was like, I knew I was scared down there. But it was so cool. It was literally like after 5 minutes. It was so
Do you remember the
No comment. No comment.
She doesn't like business.
I was almost shouting in the question.
Don't worry, I'll film my own.
Don't worry, you have to practice. I'll be there if you want to sit. I don't think you would be better off.
I know Max is funny one.
Yeah, it was last week, wasn't it? Last week we were definitely So we're trying to say we're disrupting. I don't know what.
And you'll find it like a lot of the like
I think you two are right. No?
I know. Do you know how to look at what I do is reactivity. We work on What else do we have? You never know. Yeah. So active. Yeah, it's not fun, you know, it's not interactive. It's just like, it's like back in high school, you just have to read and memorize and write, read and memorize and write.
Hi, my name is Clay Christian. I said I'm a professor at the Harvard Business School. I brought with me a set of puzzles, all related to innovation. We decided that the way we teach marketing is at the core of what makes motivation difficult to achieve. We've thought of it so far. We've thought of it so far is that we actually hire products to do things for us. And understanding what job we have to do in our lives for which we would hire a product is really the key to cracking this problem of motivating customers to buy what we're offering. So I wanted just to tell you a story about a project we did for one of the big fast food restaurants. They were trying to goose up the sales of their milkshakes. They had just studied this problem up the gazoo. They brought in customers who fit the profile of the quintessential milkshake consumer. And they'd give them samples and ask, could you tell us how we can improve our milkshakes so you'd buy more of them? Do you want it chocolatey or cheaper, chunky or chewier? They get very clear feedback. They would then improve the milkshake on those dimensions, and it had no impact on sales or profits whatsoever. So one of our colleagues went in with a different question on his mind, and that was, I wonder what job arises in people's lives that cause them to come to this restaurant to hire a milkshake. So we stood in a restaurant for 18 hours one day and just took very careful data. What time did they buy these milkshakes? What were they wearing? Were they alone? Did they buy other food with it? Did they eat it in the restaurant or drive off with it? It turned out that nearly half of the milkshakes were sold before 8 o'clock in the morning. The people who bought them were always alone. It was the only thing they bought, and they all got in the car and drove off with it. So to figure out what job they were trying to hire it to do, we came back the next day and stood outside the restaurant so we could confront these folks as they left, milkshake in hand. And in language that they could understand, we essentially asked, excuse me please, but I got to sort this puzzle out. What job were you trying to do for yourself that caused you to come here and hire that milkshake? And they'd struggle to answer, so we'd then help them by asking other questions like, well, think about the last time you were in the same situation, needing to get the same job done, but you didn't come here to hire a milkshake. What did you hire? And then as we put all of their answers together, it became clear that they all had the same job to do in the morning, and that is they had a long and boring drive to work. And they just needed something to do while they drove to keep the commute interesting. One hand had to be on the wheel, but somebody had given them another hand and there wasn't anything in it. And they just needed something to do while they drove. They weren't hungry yet, but they knew they'd be hungry by 10 o'clock. So they also wanted something that would just pull down there and stay for their morning. Good question. What do I hire when I do this job? You know, I've never framed the question that way before, but last Friday I hired a banana to do the job. Take my word for it, never hire bananas. They're gone in 3 minutes, you're hungry by 7:30. If you promise not to tell my wife, I probably hire donuts. I'm all over my clothes, they get my fingers gooey. Sometimes I hire bagels, but as you know, they're so dry and tasteless. Then I have to steer the car with my knees while I'm putting jam on them, and then if the phone rings, we got a crisis. I remember I hired a Snickers bar once, but I felt so guilty I've never hired Snickers again. Let me tell you, when I come here and hire this milkshake, it is so viscous that it easily takes me 20 minutes to suck it up that thin little straw. Who cares what the ingredients are? I don't. All I know is I'm full all morning and it fits right here in my cup holder. Well, it turns out that the milkshake does the job better than any of the competitors, which in the customers' minds are not Burger King milkshakes, but it's bananas, donuts, bagels, Snickers bars, coffee, and so on. But I hope you can see how, if you understand the job, how to improve the product becomes just obvious.
successful. Okay, what I will do next, I will show you another example, just to have the idea. Okay, so let's have a look at another example here. This here we will talk about IKEA. So have a look at it.
Most local media companies are hell-bent on convergence, and that is that they believe that their existing news staffs, their existing advertising staffs, and their existing technology staffs, technology at the TV station, technology at the newspaper, newsrooms, all can handle this new medium, and they all understand it. So they arm reporters with cameras, and they have their IT guys also managing the web. And they're believing that convergence is the way to approach the internet and the way to develop net new business.
We've thought about this a lot over the last couple of years, and I think it's a lot clearer to me now than it was when we first began writing about it. If you understand the job to be done, if you understand that, then you can build the second layer on top of it, which is, if this is the job they're trying to get done, what are all of the experiences in purchasing and using the product that we need to provide so that they will sum up to nailing the job perfectly? And if we understand the experiences that we've got to provide, that then tells us what we need to integrate and how we need to integrate so that we can provide the experiences to get the job done perfectly. If you just think we'll integrate this and that together without this understanding of what's the job and what are the experiences, then very often you end up integrating the wrong thing into the wrong thing that don't sum up to nailing the experiences that you have to. When you see a company that has an offering that nobody can copy, rarely is it the service or the product that is the source of the long-term competitive advantage. It's really are the experiences that we provide because we know what to integrate and how to integrate them. And a good example, furniture business, the retailing of furniture is a dog business. But all of those guys segment this, that believe that the structure of their market is defined by customer category and product categories. So Levitt's Furniture has been bankrupt a few times, but they've defined the business as low-income customers and low-income furniture. But anybody can copy that model. And Ethan Allen think that their business is colonial furniture to rich people. But that's quite copyable as well. But there's one that nobody has copied, and that's IKEA. And those guys slowly have been rolling out their model for 40 years around the world, and nobody has copied them. Nobody. And it's not that they have secrets. Anybody can walk through, anybody can buy their products, copy them completely. It's not that they don't have, that there's no money into it. Their owner is the richest guy in the world some years. But my sense is that they're organized around a job to be done. And that job, it occurred in my son's life last summer when he called me up one day and he said, "Dad, I'm moving into my new apartment tomorrow and I gotta furnish it tomorrow." And when that job arises in your life, and that is, we have to we have to furnish this room now. The word IKEA pops into your mind. And you look at what they've done, they have integrated a set of experiences that you have to require those to get the job done perfectly, and to provide those experiences, they are integrated in a completely different way than anybody else. And they're the only guys that have done that, because they could never love to think through this notion of convergence. If you try to get insight by going directly to that question, I bet that you find that you've stuck things together that are irrelevant to the question of what's the job they're trying to do. But if you build into that, you find, oh my gosh, if we do this, nobody can compete against us. And so I would love to talk that over with.
Good idea behind it, and reflect it, how you can reflect it into apps development as well. There are many thousands of them out there, but most of them are not successful because of this, mainly because of this. You need to, yes?
So what makes IKEA so special again? Because it wasn't really clear. What makes IKEA so special? Why can no one copy their business
Because
strategy?
it's not about the furniture that they're developing. Like, as you hear, anybody can. It's simple and easy. It's because the experience they provide to you. You can go there and buy it on the same day. You don't need to order it and wait for it to be delivered. They've got everything, the storage and everything. Anything you want, you can go to IKEA and get it and come back home. You can get it. It's all there, stored. So it's about the way that they are providing the service to the user, which is quick and easy. Not about the product that they develop. Many of these products are not really nice, for example, or they look cheap or something like that. But if you need something today, and he mentioned the story of his son, they think about IKEA because they can provide us this service.
Nice.
So think about it. That's it. Yes? Any other question? Okay. So for example, you can think about an app idea or job to do. For example, Get Me Home. You are anywhere, Get Me Home for the app. Like for example, I am here, please get me home. Maybe the app knows where you can enter the postcode or something like that. So it should provide you that job. Is it via taxi, via bus? Plan my holiday, feed my family, about nutrition stuff or something like that. So these are, jobs that the app should do for a particular person. Save me money, make me beautiful, organize my day, answer my question. There are many jobs that it can be an app idea. Okay. We've got here in the following few examples, many of these apps. They are available on the market, and you can have a look at them and see they are good apps. See how, like for example, this is Get Me Home, about ordering a taxi or something like that. In 4 steps or 3 screens, you can get a taxi and everything. You can get whatever you want from the app. So it's not complicated. You go to many screens, many clickers, and so on. And so this is one example. You can look at it. Here again is organize my day. It's not showing you. This one is about the user interface. About, for example, the way that, like for example, you swipe, you don't pick from a list. It's about the user interface as well. You have to think. For example, you can close the list, open the list, the way that the user interface or how it looks, things like that. So I I advise you if you can, like, for example, download these apps and have a go through them and look at, these are examples of successful apps. Or help me buy the right. You go and scan the barcode of the product, and accordingly the app identifies what's the nutrition inside it. And accordingly you say this is good for me or no, and so on. Again, this is another app can be downloaded, and a successful one. You can have a look at it and see is it really is helping buying the right things. This one is to track my pregnancy. Again, it's another successful app. Again, I advise you to have a look and go through. Mainly it's about user interface, not many clicks you do, giving you whatever you want and not going through many screens or many clicks. Okay. So remember, is designing an app is not about designing a website due to the limitation of the screen and the features and the processing power of that small device. Try to use the features of the device. You need to study what features the device provides for you and the device. Think about the use while they are away from home. Are they when they are at home? The way it's used, the context, the environment. There are many, like for example, if you go to the Android developer website and also the Apple, there is a lot of design. You know, there is I'll show you as an example. Many tips about how do you design for Android or design for app applications. So if you want to know really what are the design aspects that you need to consider when designing an app, I recommend you go to the Android developer website or the Apple website. We call them user experience guidelines. They give you good guidelines about how to design in terms of user interface.
What's the different design with Apple and Android?
Different programming language. Yeah.
Yeah, no, he's talking about the design
Because
aspect.
the Apple,
Yeah.
if you operate it in both of the software, it will work the same. But what's the difference by
Yeah,
making it?
remember these are two brands, two groups of people. And Apple, Android and Apple, they will all talk about how to make the user experience, the best user experience, the best experience for user when they use it. So they will give you some tips. Have a look at both of them. I'm not saying, here, like for example, Jonathan is recommending Apple, but also I recommend Android. I've looked through it. It's very nice, guidelines about how to design, and also it gives you, because remember, Android is a big platform, lots of features around it. So this guidelines in the design in that website, it gives you what are the available features. It gives you like list of things that you can use to make your app presentable, to be presented in a better way. So, and also on the W3 school as well, I didn't put the link, maybe I'll upload a new version. In the W3 school, there is also some sort of standards about apps development or mobile application development in addition to the web app. So there as well, there are some features. Also, there are some tips you can use to design the best app. Okay. Also, when you design, you need to create prototypes. Yeah. You don't just think about an idea. You need to put it on paper, even if it is like just on anything. Paper. This is my first screen. This is how I will go from here to there. Remember, a few clicks, get to the job. Get to the whatever you want to do. You can do it on a piece of paper. You can do it based using PowerPoint. The idea is to create a prototype. Or you can, as we will see next in the next slide, I'll give you an example of a website that you can create an app without any development. Just like your idea, put it there and show it to the end user. Is it nice? Is it good? So once you do that, the prototype is important before you go and sit down and develop really the real code. Because you can take it to the end user, to the people that you are targeting to be used by, and ask their opinion. it will give you some feedback. You can go with a questionnaire or something to ask them about usability and accessibility of the app, for example, features of the app, and so on. And listen, I respond to this feedback. Maybe you can produce another prototype. Still, you are paper-based, or the platform that I've shown you, not developed, not fully developed. Once you are satisfied, then you can go to the next step and develop the app, where you sit down as a programmer and really develop. So the idea of this lecture, and it's one of your activities, is to think about, don't jump into programming. Programming, by the time, in a few years' time, or even now, code can be generated using some available software. It's not about the actual job, or it's about how can you sell at the end this app to the end user? Will they use it, or is it going to go into the shelf and that's it, it will be useless? So it's about the functionality of the app. It's about the design of the app. It's about the job that it's needed by that end user, as we've seen from the couple of examples of IKEA or the milkshake. You know, why people were buying it at that certain period of time, because it suits them for that when they drive. Okay. Even for us, for example, I developed lots of applications for health, for patients, for healthcare professionals. It's really, really difficult to take it to the hospital or to healthcare, or to ask the patient if it's an elderly, to convince them to use it. Is really difficult. So you have to develop it for that type of end user. If I'm developing for elderly, I have to think about this person, he can't see properly, the font has to be big. This person, they don't want to click too many things, they like swiping or something like that. Or the colors. Or will I develop it for them on an iPad or on a tablet? It depends, you know? So you have to think about your end user, the context, the environment that they are in. Okay? To make a successful app. This is a website. It's called App Demo Store. It's very easy. It's got a few steps to develop something quick. As I said, it's not about the matter of you use software to design your app. It's about, even on a piece of paper, you can do it and show it to the end user. But here's this making it like, when you use this, it will feel like an app, but it's not. There's nothing behind it, really. So, basically, I don't know. Maybe Drishti will show you later on the proper steps. But what happened here? Your screens, you have to design it yourself. Maybe you can have pictures. This is my first screen. This is my second. This is my third. And take them via this software and put them one next to each other and you can say that I want to move from page 1 to page 3 by clicking on what. So you can program it in that way, in simple ways. But at the end of the day, it's not a proper app. And you can also download it on your app as an app, on your telephone as an app. So she will show you later on how, as an example, and this will be one of your activity. So with this, you are not thinking about programming at all. Forget about it. If it is Android or iPhone, thinking about how can I make it for a particular purpose. Think about jobs to be done. So you need to think about an idea and build your own app. Look at user experience from Apple, from Android. And I will try to upload now from W3 School. They've got some guidelines about good tips for designing a app. Remember, because from these tips you will know what are the features of that particular platform. For Android, you've got lots of features. You will not be able to know all about these. But with this list of features, you can use to develop your app. Okay. Now,
I think you have to click on the apps.
Huh?
I think you you have to click on the apps to start. I mean,
Is it? Where?
to start the demo. Any
Oh,
of
the
them.
demo.
Yeah, like it will walk you through.
I think.
Could be.
No, I think I tried it last night as well, but I don't know how to. What was it to click? I don't know. Maybe I have.
You can try pulling down where it says pull down.
Where?
On the iPhone screen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh. This one?
Yeah, just click, just pull down. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, okay.
Yay!
Yeah, okay. So you click to go through it. These are screens you uploaded there. You uploaded there, and you can click on whenever you want to go to the
But
next
this isn't
screen.
free.
It is free.
It says pricing right there.
Is it a demo?
There is a version is free and the
Evaluation.
Yeah.
Yeah, evaluation.
You have a free version.
Anyway, so we'll have a go on this later on.
Well, I can give you both versions. So one of them is to actually publish it on your phone, which is a paid version.
Okay. Now, do you have any question on the previous few slides? Okay. Next, we will look into just give you some idea about the platform to develop. Okay, so we will look into, this is an example, like it's going from 2011, for example, 2012, and 2013, and maybe you can go to this website and draw the 2014, see where is the market now. So it started before Google was like 41% of the market, 2012, 50.8%, 51.8%. And if you can see, Apple start picking up over the years. So definitely Google or Android platform is the most popular one now. The others start shrinking, like for example the BlackBerry. You can see the green bit there. And that will start picking up. So just to show you like the available platform. Okay, just to tell you, why we chose an Android for this. Apart from it's more popular, but it has some features as well. Android is a mobile operating system. Okay, it is based on a modified version of Linux. So we started with Linux and modified it, and they came up with Android. It was originally developed by Android Incorporation in 2005, and then Google purchased that platform and took it on board. And they had in mind that they always wanted to make Android to be open and free, as we know that it's free and more open than Apple in terms of development. So they put two things in mind in terms of software and hardware. They wanted software, anybody can download the source code and develop. So you can go to their website and download and start developing. And also in terms of hardware, any vendors, any mobile companies, they can adopt Android and customize Android to work on their particular laptop. Okay? And accordingly, it's a very attractive platform because it's the open and free features, and because it provides a unified approach to application development. Okay, so this is some history about it from 2009. It has many versions, went through many versions until we are here at version 5. It's called the Lollipop. And accordingly, when they companies produce new version, they've got better features, more features to suit the end users. So currently we have 5 Lollipop, which has, in addition to from the common features in phones and tablets, they and wearables, because it was introduced before this version, they can use and develop things for TV and for your car as well. So I just was watching this as well yesterday. I just want to share it with you and see the new version of Android platform and how can we use it to develop something for our car, to be used in our car, for autos. So please bear with me with this, because it's very nice.
Hello, I'm Timothy Jordan, and this is an introduction to Android Auto. Commuters in the U.S. spend an average of 1 hour a day in their car, and a person checks their smartphone an average of 125 times per day. Now, cars get us where we're going, while our phones keep us connected. But using your phone while driving can be distracting. In fact, 25% of accidents in the US are caused by people fumbling with their phones. What if you could stay connected using your phone, but in a safer and more convenient way that's integrated with your car? And better yet, what if developing for this new platform was easy and familiar? Bringing Android to the car. It's the same platform you already use for phones, tablets, televisions, watches, and more. In fact, all these experiences will often be in the same APK. But now, your app can also extend to the car in a way that's safer and more efficient for the driver, so they can stay connected, but with their hands on the wheel and their eyes on the road. Now, using Android Auto is easy. Users go to the Google Play Store and download apps onto their phone that support Android Auto. They then connect their phone to the car. The phone goes into car mode and casts the Android Auto experience to the car's screen. Now, this means that although all the apps and services are actually running on the phone, they're displayed in the car's dash, and you can interact with them using the vehicle's controls, such as a built-in touchscreen and microphone. You know what? Let me show you how this works. So I'm here in the Android Auto building, where the team's getting some developer tools ready for all of us. And see if I can find Daniel and borrow his car. Hey, Daniel.
Hey, Timothy.
How's it going?
Good times for Android Auto developers. Getting ready for the launch.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome. Hey, the jetpack's working. Okay. So I'm sitting in a brand new Kia Soul, and some people like this car for the panoramic sunroof. I like it for Android Auto. I'm going to connect my phone to the car. And you'll see it goes into car mode. I'll touch here, and Android Auto starts up in the car. Cool, huh? Now this is the overview screen. It's where you start, and it contains contextual cards based on the location, the time of day, and more. It's also the place where I can find my notifications. The activity bar is here at the bottom, and it contains a set of common actions: navigation, communication, audio, and car-related stuff. You'll also notice the microphone up here in the corner. I'll get back to that in a moment. But first, let's play some music. Let's tap here and play this song. You'll notice that even though I'm in someone else's car, everything is running on my phone, so it's all my stuff, from my notifications to my Play Music account. Anyhow, right now we're in the app view. Now this is one of the most interesting things for you as a developer, because this is where your app lives. For user interface consistency and to ensure that all apps adhere to the same safety guidelines, the Android Auto framework will display your app in the standard UI template. Now this is also what makes it so easy to extend your app for Auto. You don't need to worry about the wide variety of display configurations, resolutions, different input controls, or even that much about driver distraction. You just provide resources such as image assets, strings, color palette, and supported playback controls to customize your app without having to define the entire user interface yourself. Oh, hey, look, A text message from Wayne. I'll just tap it to play.
Hey Timothy, I hear you lifted an Android Auto car. Want to ghost ride it?
Now this is the other really interesting thing for you as a developer right now. Message notifications. You can take advantage of these by using the car extender in the same way you use the wearable extender for Android Wear. Now the last thing I want to show you is the voice interface, which is where I can reply to text messages or search. I just need to tap the microphone in the top right of the screen. Define joyriding.
Joyriding, the action or practice of driving fast and dangerously in a stolen car for enjoyment.
This thing is awesome. All right, let's head back to the studio and wrap this up. Okay, just a few last things. Android Auto works by projecting apps and services running on the user's phone onto the car's screen. Now this means you just need to extend your existing Android apps to work on the car. And there's two great use cases for that today: audio and messaging. Audio apps such as music, radio, and audiobook players, which are an awesome way to stay entertained while you're driving, can now be extended to the car. APIs are available to expose content, receive playback control, and customize the UI. Messaging applications, which are a great way to stay connected while you're driving, can now be extended to the car as well. Now, APIs are available to show notifications, play back the message, and reply with speech. Android Auto brings the Android platform to the car. You can simply extend your existing app to work in the car, allowing drivers to be connected to their virtual worlds while staying focused on the road ahead. Please check out these great developer resources at this URL. I'm Timothy Jordan, and I'll see you on the road.
Where are my keys?
Okay, so just to give you, what the latest of this new version of Android and how it's taking the platform to the car. You can develop some apps for you driving and also for TV. But just I'll show you an example of the cars. What are the features of Android? It's a small computer, well, it's got limited resources, but still, you can have, it's got a storage, so you can have a small database there. We call it SQL Lite. So it's SQL, but a lighter version because of the limited resources of the device. So for example, if you want to develop an application and store data, you can do that on your platform, on your phone. It's got, as we know, our phones got all the connectivity that you can think of, the wireless communication in terms of 3G, 4G, Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, and 4G. I mentioned that as well. And also it supports messaging, supports both SMS and MMS, and also web browsing, media support, like it's got video coding of many encoders there. It's possible using the Android. It supports, it's got lots of sensors, and the new one has got more sensors as well, like GPS, accelerometer, camera, and digital cameras, and so on. Multi-touch screen, multitasking, you can run more than one application on the same phone, like a normal computer. Flash support, tethering, where you can have it as a hotspot Wi-Fi connecting to the internet. And it's got many more features, especially with the new available, with the new versions of Android operating systems. And here is a list of the devices that you can think of, and also the wearable we need to mention in addition to the audio that we just talked about. Okay. What do we need for to develop using Android? Before I get into that, again, as any other platform, there are lots of resources to learn from and look at. This is a list of resources, mainly the developerandroid.com, which is the official website of Android developers. There you can find all the design features, that you can use. You can download the software, and you can have tips about different, tips when you are developing, and you can join a group there and find some answers to some of the programming problems that you might face. And also there are some other learning material resources. We have Linda here, and we have it, and also the new Boston as well website is called a set of videos, very useful, very important, takes you step by step of developing. I just had an example of a pharmacy student, who was my PhD student, but pharmacy student, you expect them to do research in medical science and stuff like that. And he needed to evaluate an app, and he was waiting for us, computer science, to develop something for him. We had a version, but it was a bit older. He wanted something new for the new devices. So I said, okay. He gave up waiting. He said, okay, I'll have a go and develop it myself. So what did he use? He used Linda, and he sat down. Pharmacy student, never done computing before. Just looked at the resources, and he developed the whole app. And basically now, he developed another one, and he's evaluating it in the hospital here to finish his PhD. So what are my message here is not, because of the available resources and the amount of available resources is not difficult now these days to develop. You don't need to have like the proper computer science, whatever you learn. It's a platform, I know it's using Java, and you may say, okay, I should know Java. It's not really. You don't need to know everything about Java, because what Android is using libraries from Java. All you want to know is how to use it. But it's there written for you. It's a matter of bringing them, putting them together. And we will show you how we do it. Okay? Now, we just mentioned this based on Java language. Okay, it's a platform, it's a high-level platform. If I say it's running using Java, so you should have the Java SDK running also on your computer, isn't it? So accordingly, you need to download. You need to download the Java SE Developer Kit JDK from this website, from the Oracle website. That's one. That's the foundation for you to run Java. Second, you need to download the actual Android SDK. Where do I get that? From the famous website, which is developer.android.com. As I told you, it's got everything. So you go there and download your SDK. Okay? What else I need? What else we need to develop? What else we need from the previous example of the web apps development? We need text editor. Yeah, we need something to edit our text. We use Eclipse. Have you heard of it? Yes. So we use Eclipse. Maybe you can use Notepad++, but I use Eclipse. Okay? I know it works, so Eclipse I recommend. So Eclipse, you can download it again from the eclipse.org downloads. What else I need? I need another thing. So we have the Java, we have the SDK, we have the Eclipse developer, and also we need some Android development tools, which is, again, they provide us Android website, they provide us these, libraries that we need to, these packages that we need to install to benefit from these development tools. Okay, so these are the 4 things. And nowadays, you can get them from the website from a single download. This is like, I'm just explaining it to you to show you what really we need. But when you go to the website, you can download them with a single or a couple of downloads. You don't need to go through every step. But I'm listing them here to show you that this is what is behind the development. This is what you need as a tool to download to work. Okay. And remember, here we are developing for the phone. But the platform, the download that I just mentioned is your development tools. Yeah. So you need to download them on your laptop. Yeah. So you need to download all of these on your laptop, an open Eclipse where you put your code and everything else, and when you run it, you will have an emulator of your device, a virtual device, Android. This is on your computer. You're not here, but you can connect this via USB, and whatever you are running can appear here. But also without it, you can just run your program using the Android tools and libraries. When you run it, you will have the screen, this emulator. So it's a proper like Android screen. Okay? So it's called Android Virtual Device. Okay, so I'm just going to go through now, as any platform, when you start developing, you go with the Hello World to develop. I just mentioned what you need. You need the Android development process. I just mentioned that you need Java. And another thing you need XML. Have you done XML? Not yet. Huh? Sorry? No, XML. So you need Java and you need XML. I'll show you what's XML in the next few slides. It's another language. It's a high-level language. It's not like programming languages. It's a way you list your data, like a database, but it's not really a database. It's more closer to a program. I will show you how it works. Very simple. You need, of course, the Eclipse, the SDK, the plugins of the Android development tools, and you need the device emulator, which comes as a bundle with this. When you download your Android development tool, it comes with it. And then also you can test it on a real phone or a device if you like. You can connect it via a USB cable to your laptop. Okay, just bear with me here. Just I'll introduce you some terms when you are developing using Android. Okay, when you have an app, when you go from a screen to screen, it's a screen, you press something, you go to another screen. The screen itself is called activity in the Android world. So it's called activity. So if I say I have 3 activities, means you have 3 screens basically for your phone. So it's an activity. So focus things a user can do, for example, edit a note, play a game or something. So is this the page that the user sees and plays with. So basically it's your screens, your pages, your web pages, or called them mobile pages. Yeah? So it's called activity. There are other things which we are not going to concentrate on. You will only concentrate on activity, that's what you need. But just as like information for you, there is something called service, which is we call them background processes. So for example, if I'm working on, as I said, it's multi-processing. You can work on an app, but actually you can run another program behind at the back, and you use it we call it service. There is a broadcast receiver where it receives messages, triggers, alarm for events, and also very important, there's something called content provider, where it stores retrieved data, for example, open a phone contact. Content provider allows your application to contact your what is called phone list, contact list. So for example, you can build an app that connect with your contact list. What do you think this contact list is? It's basically an app on your phone. It's a content provider that you can develop an app and connect to it. So for example, maybe you want to find all, you can drag whatever people from there and put them in your app or something like that. So you can do that. Or maybe you can connect to your map on the phone. Or maybe you can connect to your calculator. Or maybe you can connect to the messages on your phone, and so on. So this is some sort of, they call it content provider. But forget about it now, we are concentrating on activities only. Okay. Hello world, I'm going to go through some screenshots, but later on, Drishti will go through the proper program, show you properly via the Eclipse, how do you do that? So this is basically on the Eclipse. You want to create a new project, we call them. So to create a new project, you just starting fresh. You want to create your new app, so it's new, and you go and create your new project there. Okay. So I create my new project, and it gives me this, and it tells you what you want to create. Remember, Eclipse is not used only for Android. You can use it for Java development. You can use it for C++ development. It's a text editor. You can use it for anything, like Notepad++. So in this case, it connects straight to, it shows you Android. So you say, you click on it, and it gives you a list of things. You say, okay, I want to create a job, a project, Android application project. So click on it, and then you will create, of course, next, you will have this screen here. Usually, in any project you create with Android, it goes straight to Hello World. So the first thing you create a new project, it creates you Hello World. So here, for example, I just want to keep it. Just this, at the end of the day, this app will just, when you click on it, it will display Hello World on it, just a display screen. So basically, this is it, Hello World. And you can tell, you can say to your Eclipse, say, I want to use Android version 4.1, and you can use any other version you like. There's a list of, you can click on here, you'll see a list of things. And also, it's very important, when you develop something, you want to say, what is the minimum device my app can work on? So for example, I want to say, my minimum requirement SDK is Android 2.2. I am at version 4.1 now, for example, but it can work at 2.2. It's very important. Otherwise, your app will not know what to work on. Maybe you can keep it as 4.1, but it will not work on all the versions of phones. So it's very important that you have this minimum SDK requirement, and these are like just defaults. You don't need to worry about it. And that's it, basically, will create you. Have you done Java?
Yeah.
Okay, so this looks familiar to you? Yeah? Can you see, I didn't put that. You don't need to add this. It creates it for you. It creates you a package named home.example.hello world. Okay? Now, next. You want to add an icon to your app, like when it starts on your computer, on your phone. You want to have an icon. So here you can have an image, or you can use a clipboard or whatever. You can say my icon will be a text, whatever. You can do that. But the default is one of these default, let's say, icon. Okay. Okay, so you know what I mean by icon, is the icon in the phone, yeah? So you can select your icon, and then you said, okay, I would like it to be activity. We're talking about activities. This is the type of, Android application that I'm developing. And here it will tell you what's the name of the activity is Hello World. You can add. If you are creating something else, like for example, Get Me Home, you can call it activity Get Me Home, or whatever it is you want to call your activity, the main activity. Okay? So basically, this is to create that activity. Okay? Then, we'll show you automatically here, as in the emulator, it shows you that, look, this is what, if you press on that icon, you will get this Hello World, the name of your activity, and it's displaying a text Hello World. Okay? Of course, this is the beginning. This is just the first screen. You can add buttons, you can add lists, you can add tables. Everything is available on Android. You can add to it. So here is the list of for example, things you can add. You can have many things. On your screen, on your page. Okay, pay attention to me. Now this is the Eclipse screens, yeah? So here you put your folders, the one that you are working with, and here you've got, for example, if I press on any of these, will display the content of that. So for example, if I'm working on sources, in the sources you will have all the Java code related to the Hello World. So if I press on any of these Java sources, you will see the code here. So basically it's your window to the content of your folders. Okay? So currently, this is the Hello World. If I click on it, it gives me a list of what is just generated. I generated my first app, which is Hello World, and underneath it, I've got all of this generated automatically for me by just going through these pages. Okay, done for me. Okay, what it generates for me, most important is the source. Here is the source, the code that is generated by going through this. I will show you what is involved here. And also, I have another important folder here called resources. And here you will find something called layout. In the layout, as the name indicates, that you will find here the list of your pages, all your pages. Okay? So for example, or I call them activities. So if you have 3 activities, you will see that you will have 3 pages here. And what are these? If you can look at the .xml, it's basically the layout. It shows you the layout, tells you what's the layout of the screen. Like HTML is the structure. Here we are not using HTML, we're using XML to give you the layout of my screen. Okay? So I have here one activity because I have only one page. Okay? And that activity is called .xml, hello world.xml, and this is it, if you can see here. Sorry, it's a graphical layout. This is a graphical layout. The nice thing about Eclipse, it can show you the graphical layouts, and if you press here, it shows you the actual code. So you can flip between the two, just to make sure have I developed or have I designed the right layout. So this is the graphical one. Go here, you see the actual code, the line code. And I'm talking about this XML here. There is another one important, it's called value, which we will look at it. Because these strings, where did we get these strings? The word, hello world, the text. Again, needs to be stored somewhere, which is under values here. And also another important file here is Android manifest.xml. Here you will you will indicate security aspects regarding your app. Is your app allowed to use the internet? Is your app allowed to use other apps on your phone, and so on? It gives like access, security access for your app. So these are the most important ones that you can play with: the manifestation, the values, layout, and sources. But can you see here? I didn't program anything yet. It's all generated for me automatically. Okay, this is the first step. This is the first step of generating an app. Later on, then you will start add into it. For example, if I want to add a button here, then I need to go to this XML and say, look, I don't want just to display text. I need a button. There is, like in the HTML, there is a tag called button that you can select and will display a button. You can put a text on it. You can say on a click what will happen, and so on. Okay? Now, how do I run it? I've got it now all. How do I run it? Again, you go to the file and you go to something called run as. You run as application, Android application, and that's it. It will show you the emulator. This is your device emulator, and will show you this is the screen that you will see. Okay? So imagine if it is an app more complicated with images, with button, with text, then I need to know what are these XML tags that I need to use to have different presentation here. And the other thing you will see, how I can go from one page, from one activity to another activity. Again, we will show you with an example of that. And then you will take it from there. As I said, many resources are available to do that. Okay, I think I talked about this. And also I talked about this. You remember I talked about sources. Sources is source code. In the sources you will find your Java source code. And remember, your Android, when you go through these pages to create Hello World, it creates XML for you, which is the user interface. But the actual code, really, you need a code to work with it. Like HTML is only a screen, but you need something to run it. So Java is the language to run it. So it creates for you the Java file under sources, as we will see with Rishti when he shows you an example. Okay, bin is a normal folder where you have all your compiled files all listed underneath. Okay, I believe I went through this by going through the list before. I'm not going to go through it, but it's listed here for you for later on. Just to mention again, these are the folders that are important. Is the XML to define the user interface under the layout. You have the Java code, you have the resources, manifest, and some auto-generated file. This is, you don't need to worry about it. But this is the Android app will consist of these files. Okay. Okay. So. Okay. You remember I mentioned something under resources, and it's got something layout. And I mentioned XML. This is your main XML, which is the Hello World XML, which is the layout of your screen. This is the name of your file, the generated file. It's called hello world.java in the source folder. And it generates for you also string.xml, because remember, this one here, to display things, it needs, what are the strings that you're going to display? What are the names? Hello world, the word hello world. It's stored somewhere in resource, in that folder, resource values, and you have strings here, hello world, or whatever strings that you're going to use in your application. All of them should be listed here. Android manifest file XML is to allow your app to access, for security, to access like the internet or to access and other apps. Like for example, are you allowed to access your contact list or something like that? So you give permission to access these things. And you have other auto-generated files. These are not important, you don't need to touch it. But these are the most important one, which is you have the main XML, the Java file, the string, and the Android manifest file. So for example, do you remember I said to you strings? So these are what you will see in that string.xml. You will see like, for example, string name hello or string name hello world. And if you have many other texts, you need all to list them under that file. With each of them will have its own string name. Okay. Okay, just an example what's XML. It's very easy and really I like it. XML is a language, is a high-level language. I compare it with a database. Okay? Why I compare it with a database? So this is a file, an XML file. And this file is about generating a note that you write to someone. So it's called a note. You start it with something called the tag of the note. You end it with a tag of the note. And what is inside it, you have some subtags. So for example, per note, I want to have to who. So you have something called open tag, close tag to, and you put the name of that person here. From, the name of that person. Heading, reminder. And it has another tag called body, which is the body of the message. Don't forget the lecture or something like that. So if you can compare it to database, it looks like this is a file, and these are a number of fields, isn't it? Like if you can compare it to a database. Yeah? But it is written in such a way, not complex, open source. I don't need an SQL or whatever. I can list all my notes here. For example, if my file is notes and I have 5 notes there, what I will do, I'll create 5 of these. This is the first one, and another one I repeat it here. So I'll say to, for example, this time Neda, from, for example, Rishti, for example, heading, again, reminder, body, don't forget the lecture. Another note. It can be something you want to leave for another person or something like that. So, as you can see, it's like a database, isn't it? Table with a number of fields. But in such a way, it's easy for us to understand and not complex. That's why it's used here in Android. And by the way, very easy to go through WSB School. It's available. This is about another example of XML. It's about, there is an XML file here, it's about a bookstore. A bookstore consists of books. So instead of opening a table on the database and say, okay, I'll have a table called books, and I have in each table I'll have these fields like the book name, title, author, date, and so on. You can do it by XML as well. So for example, here a bookstore, here it's got only 2 books. You can have 100 of these. So repeat it. This will be repeated 100 times with different contents. So the first one here, I'll say book category is, for example, cooking, title, everyday Italian, whatever, author this, year this, price is this, and repeat it. So this is an XML. And simple. It's all about you're storing your data, your actual data,
so
in a format of tags. Yes.
We only display text in XML.
Yes.
That's all.
Yes, but you need to display it in such a way like that, with tags. Yeah, and you're displaying data.
You can only display text. You can't do any link or any.
No. Just displaying text.
Okay.
It's like I'm comparing it with simple words to database. Nothing in there. It's there to access it and display it. I can access the detail and display it on my screen. Instead of stored on the database, it can be here. So that's why we take advantage of the XML. If I go here in the hello world layout, you remember layout I called activity hello world.xml. This is what it looks like. Okay? It is an XML. Yeah? It's got a big tag here is called relative layout. Forget that, it's about relative layout means like whatever inside here. For example, I'm here showing only text. Maybe it's a button, maybe it's some other type of display. Whatever kind list or whatever that. They are all under the relative layout because they are related. First one first and second, and so on will be displayed on your screen as related. Okay, so for example, because it's hello world, I'm only text viewing text, yeah? So the tag here is called text view. There is a number of these reserved words, all listed you can use. For example, there is a button, one for the button, and so on. So here, for example, is saying, okay, the width will be wrap content. For example, if the hello world is 2 world, and that's it, it's finished. The text will finish that. Here. The height is wrap content. Whatever is the content of the text, stop there. Yeah. For example, is it horizontal and center? You can say it. I want it horizontal and center. We'll go horizontal and center. Is it vertically is centered as well? You can say yes. And the most important thing out of all of these is actually the text itself. So it's the text. The text that I'm going to display is the string hello underscore world. Yeah? So there is a string called hello underscore world, which is stored somewhere under the value. Get the value of that and display it basically. So as you can see, this is our XML. It's all about tags. Here, you display things, and you can have more than one of these. And maybe I will have a lot of text to be displayed. So maybe I'll have 5 lines, so I'll have 5 of these, one after one. Okay? So the previous version, I'll show you the actual text. Here you can click on the graphical layout, will give you as a graphical layout. as well. Okay? The strings here, remember I said if you go to the values, you go to the strings, you go here, and there is a string called hello world. And once that XML calls that string hello world, it will display the text hello world exclamation mark. Okay? So imagine if you are displaying other things, you have to follow the same thing as we just mentioned. Okay. This is the manifestation file. Again, the Android manifest is an XML. As you can see, it's all about tags. Yeah. So, for example, I have application. Yeah, and I have how many activities I have in here? I have only one activity because it's got only one screen. If your app has got more than one activity, you will see a lot of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever it is you have. So again, it's an XML style of laying out information. This is the Java code generated. We didn't write this. It is generated for us under the source. This is hello world Java, hello world.java. Okay? Per activity, you will have many features, many libraries you can call. For example, if I'm pressing a button, only click, when you click on the icon of Hello World to start your app, only create, your Android, your Java application will call on create, so it will call the first activity. Which is the hello world, uncreated until the data. If you want to add more other features in your Java programming on start or resume. So what I'm saying here is it's supported by many libraries from Java. On stop if you want to stop your app. When on stop, then do this and so on. So you can on restart do that. So this is the Hello World Java. If you go under resources, the Hello World Java will look like this. I didn't write that. This is generated for me. As you can see, it's generated and it's good. This is on create. When this app is created or started, automatically go and get me the layout activity Hello World, which will get you that first screen for the XML, the main XML screen. Okay? You don't need to worry about this. This is the main part here, but it's all generated for you. If you want to add some more code here, it has to go here under this button to add something else on your app. How do I go from one activity? How do I add another page for my screen? Again, using a command called intent. In the main activity, you say intent new activity. We'll call a new activity dot class. Okay. So if I want to add a new activity, are you going to show this, Drishti?
Yeah, we can.
Yeah. Okay then. So it will show you something about this. This is basically what I wanted to say today. I just introduce you to another world. This is the Android. She will just show you some examples, and then we will end our session. Do you have any questions?
What? You have a question? What? I didn't hear what you said. I didn't say anything. Didn't say anything. No, see? You didn't say anything.
Oh.
find this interesting. You guys having fun there?
Excuse me? Do you have a similar software for iPhone as well to create
No, I didn't cover. I can't cover.
No, but do we have a similar software to create an application?
Of course, if you go to the Apple store, they don't use Java, they use C#.
But you don't have made software.
Yeah, they have something similar to this that generates. Yeah, of course.
It's the Xcode.
Yeah.
You need a Mac to do that. So you have the app Mac and then you download the Xcode and you'll be able to design it. But it's completely different. Hello, I'll just start with this website. It's known as a new pay, and it will allow you to do your first activity for next week. So it will be, you will need to use jQuery Mobile, and it's basically an application that will allow you to create a restaurant picker. So you will need to design it and to start from scratch, and then make it working on an actual phone. So I'm just going to introduce the website to you. You can have a look when you have time for your activity for next week. So it starts creating a restaurant picker web app. It gives you step-by-step how to create it. So using jQuery Mobile. This is actually, you can also download all the files, and you can see how a demo in a similar way how it works. When you finish designing it and running it, you will actually have a QR code. Do you know how a QR code works? So you will just have a scanner, and when you can scan it, it goes directly to a URL where your website has been designed. Your mobile site will be designed. I'll give you an example. I'll show you on the next session. So to start with, you have to do obviously all your designs for your wireframes. This one just explains to you how you will choose the plate, how you're going to add the pictures and the main layouts. So I won't go through all of it, just to let you know this is the main website that you will need to use for your next week activity. At the end, it's going to give you some of the codes as well. Obviously, we don't expect you to do everything by your own, so you'll have a list of the codes you can download from my website. Same as a similar way as I showed you last week, how you have to download it on your XAMPP local server, input all your files, organize it really well. So for your CSS, for your jQuery Mobile, make sure you download jQuery Mobile first. And then you just follow the steps, and it will guide you how to do it. So it shouldn't be that hard. So it should look similar to that. So restaurant picker, where you'd like to eat. And then this is the some codes for the second page. You just need to copy and paste it in your code editor. That's the third page again. So just do it step by step, and you should be able to deploy it on a mobile phone. I'll give you another example using another website, which is you have two-part activity, so you can choose which one to do. This is the first one, and the second one is known as the My Demo Store, which Dr. Nada has already showed you the different slides earlier. So someone was asking if it's a free tool. So yeah, it is a free tool, but depending on different functionalities, obviously, for the pro version, you will need to pay a small amount. But for the time being, we'll just look at the free version, which allows you to create an app. Like she explained already to you, you will have to design it using a special tool, maybe Dreamweaver if you're already familiar to it. So you design your screens depending on the size and whether it's on iPhone, whether it's on Android. If you can do tablet as well. So you choose your size of pictures and text. And then afterwards, when you already decided like what job you are doing, and you upload it, so you just create an account here. Then you sign in, and then this will automatically be created. So if you go on, I've named mine as Wish app. So I go on edit, and then I go to screenshots. So these are the screenshots that I've uploaded. So yours should look similar to that. So if you can add like 5 to 6 screens. It doesn't need to be in order because this tool allows you to choose the order afterwards. So once you click on one screen, it would link to the other screen. So it doesn't matter if you don't put it in an order. So after you upload your screens, you just click on done. And here you go. So this is the actual screen that I've uploaded, and it has a download demo. That's the one that will provide you with an URL, but the pro version will ask you to pay. You will have a QR code similar as the other website where you can actually go through the link on your mobile. So it will be a mobile version and it will be a web app, so it doesn't matter if you have Android, or it will automatically go to the browser and locate it for you. So once you upload it, the next step you will need to do is go to edit demo, and then you add some interaction. For some reason, I'm not sure why it's not working, but sorry, just gonna check something. Yeah, it's not showing up only because I've projected it on a big screen, so I don't think everyone will see it. But just to let you know, it won't be too long. So basically, the way you will need to do it is after you upload all your different screens. Can everyone see? No? Sorry, I'm just going to explain quickly because it's easy to understand. Basically, you upload all your screens, right? So after you upload all your screens, you will have different kind of functionalities. So adding a hotspot means wherever you want to actually click on the screen. So that's known as a hotspot in any kind of mobile devices. So you will need to add a hotspot, and then you can add different kind of text. So on your already pre-designed screen that you've uploaded, you can add some text, you can add links, you can add, like I said, the hotspot where you can click on it to go to another screen. Okay, and you can add videos, pictures, and different kind of other interaction like scrollable areas and things like that. So I'm sorry I can't show it to you really because it's not working when I'm projecting it on the other screen. But this is some sort of things you need to do for your activity for next week. And after that, once you've added all kind of interaction, so yeah, so I was saying, so once you add all your interaction, then you will get this link where it will actually upload it to you. And even here, I think I can click on the different here. So for example, if I click on fill out the questionnaires, you get a different screen which has been uploaded before. And this was the hotspot that I was talking about earlier, but I'm going to show you. So this small square here, this is the actual place where you would need to click to go to another screen. So that's the hotspot. For example, if I go to next screen, which is a medical COPD diagnosis, you will get a different screen. So this is the activity you have to do. And the interesting part actually is when you actually put it on your mobile. So automatically, once you've already uploaded it and added all your interaction, you will get the QR code and it links directly to the website. So I can use it on my phone. Any one of you, if you don't have the proper code reader, so there's different kind of barcode reader. One of them is Enigma. So you can use Enigma, download Enigma scanner first on your mobile phone, and then you can use it. Alternatively, you can get the link to your website, to your mobile site, if you just click on that. So view this demo on your mobile device. So you get the different links. So each one of you will have a different code here, and you will be able to access it on your phone. So this is just to introduce you to the activity that you will need to do for next week. Any questions? Okay, we'll move to Android now. So first thing that you will need to do is to download the different kind of tools for Android development, like explained earlier. So you will need the Eclipse IDE, the Java Software Development Kit, which is version 7. We avoid to use the latest version because it might be that we have different kind of bugs, so it's better to use the version 7 for the time being. Let's go to the Java website, so it's Oracle. If you go to oracle.com and you search for Java SC Development Kit 7, there will be different versions. So if you scroll down, you will have Windows version, Linux, and macOS, so make sure you install the correct version on your computer. Afterwards, you will have to go to, once Java has been installed properly on your computer, you will have to go to the developer.android.com, which is the main development tool for development website for anyone programming in Android. So you make sure that you download the Eclipse ADT, which is the bundle that includes Eclipse, so you don't need to download Eclipse separately, like already explained. So make sure you go on that website, you download the Eclipse ADT, which includes everything, the different kinds of packages. And then follow step by step again. It's the best way to install it properly, so follow the step by step that's explained inside. So installing the SDK, so make sure you already download the SDK first, then go to Eclipse, you click on this, Eclipse ADT, it's going to install it automatically. Don't worry about it, it's going to take, it's quite a long process to install everything and makes it working, but as soon as you install everything afterwards, it's going to be easy. So you will need to do it only once, but it might take some time because there are different kind of packages and installing and updates every time. So it might take longer, so don't worry about it. And then for future development, some people will need to add different kind of packages depending on what kind of apps. But for the time being, because you're new to Android, installing different packages wouldn't be too necessary for you unless you're using some like Google Maps, sorry, or different kind of APIs, and obviously you will need different kind of packages. So once Java has been installed in your Eclipse, then you can run Eclipse from your computer, and we'll create a simple example of what Tatinada has already shown you earlier. I'm going to show you on Eclipse. So this is your Packet Project Explorer, where all your projects will be created automatically. And then you will have all your different kind of editors. So the editor part is this side of the tool. So you have the main XML and Java, everything will be displayed here. Then you will have properties, which I will show you what kind of properties you will need to edit when you're designing the app. So let's first create the Hello World program. So you go to File, New, and then you go to a new project, and then you select Android Application Project. You click on Next. So application name, let's just say Hello World. As you can see, this has been created automatically for you, so this is the package name, and then again, like we mentioned earlier, you have to mention about what kind of SDK you're targeting at, if it's 2.2 or a later version of it. And then you just click on Next. This will create the new launch icon, which will be the first main page of your application. And the different kind of images, you can adjust it afterwards. You can browse for new images. It will need to be 45 by 45 pixels. And then blank activity. Okay, so this is the activity name that we're talking about. So the main activity, which will be the first home screen, obviously you can change the name of it, but usually as a good way of writing the different programs, we usually keep it as main. And then, so main activity will be your main Java program, then activity main will be the XML file that will be created for you. So let's see how it works. Again, it will take some time to be created, so it's quite a big project. Yep, so hello world. Here you go. So hello world has been created for you with all the different kind of folders that you will need for the development. The source SRC means actually where all your Java files will be. So for example, in this case, if we double click on main activity, the Java, this is the file that has been created automatically for you. So again, it will tell you this activity will load an activity.main XML file. And I'll explain to you where all the files are organized. So hello world, source is only the Java files. Then you will have, under resources, you will have a folder known as layout. And under layout, you will get the different kind of XML, which you will be able to see as graphical as well, like already explained. So I'll just give you an example. So if you click on activity.xml, this has been automatically created for you. It's just a plain page. So this is the graphical way, and here you can just change it to activity.xml. So don't worry about if you're not familiar to XML how to start with, because some of you said you don't know how to do it. Everything is graphical based, so you can actually using drag and drop from the platform, and then it will automatically be created to you in terms of XML. But why XML is important here, it's in case you want to modify it a bit. So for example, if you're adding a new button, but you want to change the color of it, then obviously you will need to go through the codes and change the colors and the size and the different kind of drawings you want. Otherwise, if you're new to it, you can just use the graphical layout, and then you use all the different the palettes, all the widgets, the layouts, the images and media, and just drag and drop it to the hello world. And you have a menu icon folder as well. So in all Android platform, you have all the different kind of application. You have a menu bar. So the menu can be similar for all applications, but in some cases you might change the menu as well. But this will go into the menu folder. And these drawable folders that you can see. So if you want to add any pictures when you're trying to develop an Android application, make sure that you have one big picture, but because of Android having different kind of size for screen sizes, you will need to add different pictures in the different folders. So you create only one of them, only one picture, a big one. Once you copy and paste it to the different folders from your desktop, again, drag and drop, you can put it in these different folders. It will automatically resize it for you so that it's nicer on different screen sizes. Okay, so this is just the example of the Hello World program, and you will need to add the different kind of programming here. So let's take an example of how you can link two pages together using intents. Okay. So this is a small project that I've created for the demo today. So again, in the sources, you have only two main pages. So main activity.java and next activity.java. And at the same time, when you create an activity in Android, it automatically creates both folders for you, which includes the Java files and the XML files. So once I created it, I automatically get the main activity and activity next.java. So let's go through the activity main.java, sorry, .xml. So this is the main screen of your application, and we can run it in an emulator to see how it works. So if you click on to start this emulator, you will need to go to this small icon you can see here. It's known as the Android Virtual Device Manager. Once you click on it, you'll be able to create your own emulator yourself. So you can choose the screen size, you can have a tablet, you can have different kind of phones. So I've got different test screens to be used. So once you select one, like I'm using the test one now, and then you start it, it will take a couple of minutes for this screen to come up. So it's an actual virtual machine where all your application will be run. So you have to start the emulator first, make sure it works, then afterwards when you finish, when it's up running, then you go again to your application. So screens.connect, I right click and then run as Android application. And it should appear on the emulator. So here you go. So again, it's just a really basic application to show you how to connect two pages together. There are some programming behind it, so I'll show you how it works first, then we'll go through the codes quickly. So it just says, hello, welcome to Android Activity. So this is just a text box, nothing more complicated, and then the next one is just a button. So once you click on it, it will go to the next screen, which is hello world again, and you can use different kind of drop and drag, and this is just, for example, you can use the keyboard to enter some text, and then this is just a text functionality, and the next one is like password, so whatever you will be putting will be displayed as a password. And this is just like another example of how you can use a slider. It's not doing anything here at the moment, but there are different tools that you can use in Android for interaction. So let's go through the codes now. How it looks simple here, but when actually you will need to know exactly what kind of codes to use to make just these two screens. And in Android, what is quite annoying is if you make a small mistake, then none of the apps will be working. So you need to make sure that everything is well organized in the proper folder. And as soon as there's a small mistake, you will see a cross in the Java files, and you won't be able even to test it on the emulator. So this is really annoying, but in the other way, if you follow the step of how I'll show you, then you shouldn't be getting any problems. So let's see the code. So you already understood how it works with the interface, how everything is created. So with codes, so public class main activity extends activity. So this will be already created for you automatically. What I've added here is only the button. So when I declare a variable in my Java file, if I didn't name the button, I didn't name it and didn't give it an ID, then there will be an error shown again in my program. So what I have to do is I declare button as an ID here, a variable, and then afterwards I will need to add it in the other XML file. So let's start with explaining how that works. You on create means that you are actually, whenever the activity is run, it has to produce the first screen. So on create means it brings the activity main activity main to you. And then the button means find view by ID. It locates what button I'm talking about. For example, if I have 2 or 3 buttons in the same page, they wouldn't know which button I'm saying, which one to click. So you will need to specify which button, whether it's button 1, 2, or 3. So I identified mine only as button go here. So on click, then you said public void on click means whenever you're clicking on that button, it will start a new intent. Intent here means a new activity, which is my second screen. So intent F, new intent main activity this, which means it's already on this activity, and it's telling you to, once you click on it, you will go to next activity, the class, and then it will start it. So that's the main code you need just to change screens. Okay, so you will need to use that a couple of times. So you don't need to write it again. You just can copy and paste it. But the main thing is to actually name the button. So once you already declared it here, you need to make sure when you're going on to your XML, which is activity main.xml, the graphical layout here, this button has been named and given a proper ID. And this can be done automatically through properties. You don't really need to go through the XML file again. So there's a user interface that allows you to give a different kind of IDs here. And then it can give you what kind of text. So for example, here, click here to go to the next screen. You can just edit it in the property table. And automatically again, this will go to the main XML. So you don't need to do it in terms of XML. So try to use the different kind of interface in Android and drag and drop menu for you to be able to run it on the emulator. Once that's done, if there's no error code, you just right click on the emulator and run it as a code. It should be okay. Yeah, I think that's all for the